All right, welcome to the MrShortGame podcast. Tom Fluent in the house, joining us today. We got a lot to talk about, huh, Tom? It's been a little minute.
It's been a little bit, but we've had some pretty cool events, major events on the golf worldwide front. So a lot to chat about today.
Well, welcome. We're building out the new studio.
Yeah, it's looking good.
It's a little echoey still. We're gonna fix that. We got the. Somebody told me this was not a whiskey barrel. It's a bourbon barrel.
Well, bourbon's good though too, but we'll go with whatever barrels we need.
It's a barrel. So, anyways, looking for a nice bourbon sponsor.
Yep. Anybody out there, wants to get a lot of hits on social media, want us to put you front and center? We're all ears.
Right there, a little bourbon barrel golf podcast.
Totally. We might even give you some naming rights to the podcast. So,
that'd be nice.
Get the interests coming.
So, okay, let's wrap up. Let's back up a minute. Like, we had the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
What an awesome... Patrick Cantlay just dominated. But, East Lake, iconic classic course.
Yeah.
You've played there a number of times.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that.
Well, I still, I started playing there years ago, and I remember when the nines were flipped. And, like a lot of courses... I always thought it was a little odd to finish on the par three.
That's weird.
It's a tough par three, and you provide a little bit of drama, but it's not really a scoring hole. I think the former number 9 that it now ends on, par 5 scoring hole. Just better for the fans, the tournament, more into play.
Should that be a par 4? I mean, I'm on in 2 on that hole.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the boxes. I mean, they've got a lot of room behind that box. If you think about it, so that would be, you'd be going kind of across number 4.
Yeah, they could back that up.
You could really back it up,
road.
and it'd be a tough par 5. You could add.
That's a good point.
I bet you can add another 70 yards to the back of that tee box easy. And now you're thinking about, okay, I don't want to be in the rough on that hill, and I don't want to hit it too far because I bring water into play. So I think that. I'm sure I'm not providing any ideas that they're not already thinking about out at East Lake, but I still like the idea of switching the nines around. I like some of the back boxes. So what would be number 8, the former number 17, where they've cleared out all of the trees on the left. I think it was a good move. Number 10 playing as a par 4 instead of a par 5.
Yeah,
again, that box can go back quite a bit too, and that could be a pretty meaty par 4 for the tour players. So, interesting note was out there. I know you played recently.
Yeah.
And I was out there a couple weeks ago. Rough started to cut down just a little bit, but still in fantastic condition. I heard from a couple of the folks out there that it's going to be redesigned before next year's Tour Championship.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they've got some of the ideas. From what I understand, it's going to look vastly different than it does today. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. But they've got a whole new designer coming in. Expect greens to be moved all over the place, bunkering different, and just looking to make it a tougher test. So,
it's already a pretty tough test. I mean, it's a big boy course for sure.
It definitely is. But I think I'm just kind of excited, having played it for so many years.
Yeah.
What someone new eye coming in can do with that. So I'll be looking to leverage my connect as soon as possible when it's done.
Well, hopefully they don't touch 15, the par 3, too much over that kind of right on the lake, hitting back toward the club.
Yeah. So that one's already a beast of a hole.
Yeah.
So I don't, I'm not so sure that they would touch that one, or maybe just massage the green area a little bit. But holes on the now front side would be the short par 5. That thing's going to get.
Yeah,
they're going to gut that hole.
Okay.
Everybody gets there in 2.
Right.
So I think I bet you're going to see green being shifted, maybe some elevation, more of the trees into play off the tee. I thought it was. It took me by surprise. I hadn't
Right.
heard that before, but I'm kind of anxious to get more information on what it might look like.
Well, it's interesting because I played there for the first time maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the FedEx Cup, and like one is a par 5 for us, but it's a par 4 for them. But they played. Well, they played the same tee boxes we played, you know, at that day. So they played a little forward, but that just gives room for the grandstands and all that.
Sure.
And the same with, what was it, 14? We play as a par 5. They played as a par 4.
Correct.
So they got a 70. We got a 72.
Yeah, and those and number 14 from the back box, and also if you think about number 17. From the member boxes is kind of, you can drive it if you hit the right line on the trees, right? Or you're usually going to be in the front bunker on that short par 4. But if you play the back box that goes all the way beyond the 14 tee box, that makes it that's a long hole.
That's another level there.
Yeah. So they have room out there. I mean, there's room to move. Yeah. So I just think it's going to be, it's a wait and see, of course, but they plan on having this done in time for Tour Championship in 2022. So
I'm excited.
I'm sure you'll start hearing some information come out on the Golf Channel, Golf Digest, and all the different periodicals will be reporting on it. But you heard it here first.
This is your breaking news right now.
Breaking news. That's right.
East Lake is getting a renovation.
Yeah.
I'll have to fly my drone over there and get some work.
That would be all right. I don't think it's a no drone fly zone, so I think you can.
We're good.
I think you can sneak it in there.
It's not like Augusta where they'll come get you.
Yeah, well, or they'll just shoot it down.
They'll do something. So Patrick Cantlay just dominated. I thought Bryson would actually take that whole FedEx Cup this year, but he didn't come through so much. But it was hard to beat Cantlay.
He was super steady, playing great golf coming in. And just from the moment of the first tee, he just from first shot to last putt, he had a phenomenal week. Can't take it from away from him.
Well, he won the week before. So.
Yeah, it was like he just never stopped playing from the week before.
Yeah.
I mean, he played great. It was interesting on a couple of his interviews. He was like, I felt like I missed a couple things here and there. And I'm like, I mean, he obviously has very high standards for himself, as he should, but he just played great. The best player, I think, the hottest player at the time, won.
Yeah.
And I think some people argue, well, he didn't have the best score of the week in the tournament.
That doesn't matter.
Because of the staggered. But, again, that's the format they put together. I don't know if I like that format or not, but he played great. I wouldn't take anything away from his play. It was fun to watch, and he was a deserving victor there.
The format needs some work. I don't know how they fix it, to be honest, but it definitely needs something. I'm not sure what. Like, do you do a match play, but then it's one and done? Like, you could be the FedEx Cup winner or leader and then lose and you're out. Like, so I don't know necessarily what to do.
So when we started this whole points thing, and we have the cutoff to get you into the FedEx Cup. You get X number of points, and you're in. But then you got to have enough points in your finishes to get to the next phase and so on and so forth to get to the final 30. I don't necessarily have a problem with that part of it, but when we get to the final 30, I don't. We have that if you finish in the top 3, you can't finish worse than X, right? Based on your collective points. I think that's where the opportunity to change this is. I still don't like the staggered start.
It's weird.
So I earned, I'm number 1 in the FedEx Cup points. I get to the final 30. I almost like in other sports, I played the best and got to the final round of the playoffs, but I got to show up and continue to play well or I'm going to lose. I'm probably got a lot of folks out there that are probably shaking their head right now saying, yeah, I agree. Let's just start them all at 0. When they get in the top 30, you all show up and the best person that week wins the FedEx Cup. Why not?
They used to do that, and then they felt like it wasn't fair because this guy earned so much all year. But again, it's like the NFL. Okay, dude, you could be 17-0 this year. You still have to play a playoff game, and if you lose by 1 point, guess what? You're out. And so, same in golf.
I can't think of off the top of my head another sport that, you were off your game this week, but you still win. And
Too bad, right?
Right. So I think Xander he mentioned this in an interview. Rahm talked about it. I mean, there really wasn't nobody who won the tournament, who won the Tour Championship. Nobody talks about who actually won the tournament.
I think Xander had the lowest.
I think he had the lowest score, but they don't recognize that anymore because it's just about the FedEx Cup. So
that's where I think the really only answer I can see now is this match play where, hey, number 1 seed faces number 32. They'd have to get to 32 to make it kind of an even bracket. But 1 faces 32, 2 faces 31. And so based on your standing, you're the hottest player of the year. You play.
I mean, that you could do that.
That'd be cool.
I can see that. Mm-hmm. I actually like that better, and I think it determines the better players at the time or for that week versus the staggered start.
The staggered start's weird. Why 10 under? Why not even? And you're 10 over. It's just strange.
I don't know. There's some room for improvement there. I think for sure.
At least a little room. Yeah. I like a match play. It's exciting. Like, dude, one and done.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
Dude, show up or shut up, right?
Yeah. Make it. It's almost like another WGC event.
I like it. So it needs a little.
Well, they got another what? We got 8 to 9 months to be able to figure it out why they're redoing the course. So
hopefully,
so they can figure it out.
That'll be exciting. And then I got to play it like a couple weeks after, which was also pretty cool. A little easier than before, but
beforehand usually the rough is up. You have all the stands everywhere. The 3 to 5 inch Bermuda is pretty penal if you're going to get in that rough.
That's pretty.
Pretty brutal. I mean, for anybody, it's not ideal being in there, but it's kind of fun to see it. The greens are, traditionally since they've changed the greens out there a few years ago, they run nicely most of the time. The stimp is you hit them. They're going to go where you hit them.
Right.
Very nice to play. It's just, it's a nice little treat every once in a while to head down, take some clients or buddies and play. So we're a little spoiled here in Atlanta, but that's okay.
Yeah, why not? Okay, so then moving in, there was a big kind of hoopla of like the Ryder Cup picks and obviously after the Ryder Cup, that kind of all disappeared. But, did Kevin Na deserve to get in and blah, blah, blah.
Nobody called Horschel to, apologize for not picking him.
Everybody's going to have a little sob story of why they should have got in. But if the U.S. lost, then the conversation continues. But they dominated.
I think what you saw from the Ryder Cup, they dominated. But I also think there was a number of players legitimately that could have been on the team. And that bodes well for the current state of American professional golf.
For right now.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm not going to discount, Europe. They always come back. I don't know if we're going to win the next Ryder Cup or not, but right now we look good.
We look good, but we've got 2 years to lock and change in 2 years. Again, we'll take it. I think the team, they played well. I think the vibe all week was more of a unified vibe.
Yeah, there was a big talk. Okay, they were like, okay, well, Patrick Reed didn't get on the team because there were people saying, okay, Brooks and Bryson hate each other and everybody hates Patrick Reed is what
that's what they say, right?
But Patrick Reed didn't get on the team,
right?
Which was a shock to me. But he had some health issues.
Well, he had that. I think that cost him at the last minute. It was an unknown. It was a variable that probably Stricker didn't want to take into account, and then maybe also use that as hey, we're trying for some synergy here, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, we already have enough issues with Bryson and Brooks.
Exactly.
Which they came together.
And Brooks had a little injury too, so it was almost a possibility he wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, right. But rumor was that the two of them were saying, hey, we could play together. Like, if you put us together, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't. A lot of people are saying you had to and you had to. Yeah. But, no, don't do that. That was ridiculous. That's that Mickelson-Woods pairing that, what is it? Was it Hal Sutton put together? Yeah. And it was a disaster. Like, you just don't want that on your resume,
right?
Especially if you lose.
Listen, they went to the U.S. has gone to this pod system where they kind of pair small groups of players together that maybe have complementary styles of play, complementary personalities. And maybe there's something to that. Maybe it puts people more at ease to know, hey, gosh, we're all on this team together. But, Matt and I don't get along the best. I respect him. We don't get along the best. But you know what? I can root for him as long as we're not playing together every day. And so maybe Strick and his captains, they said, listen, this is working for us, and this is the way we're going to do it. I mean, clearly the Europeans, with some of their comments on it, they have one big pod. As they said, we don't really care, and so that's great. I think maybe just what we had to do is our approach needed to be a little bit different.
Was the European team? Did they go too old? You had Westwood, Sergio, Poulter. Like, you had a lot of these kind of older guys. Like, it seemed like they were reaching for like some old energy that may or may not show up.
I mean, they kept talking about, so the way the course is, the host country gets to set up, the captain gets to set up the course. It was going to play long, favored the Americans because we've got I don't know how many of the top 10 or 12 hitters on tour were on the team. Who knows, right? I mean, I watched it, and there were a lot of iron shots that weren't great iron shots from some pretty good iron players. I don't know that the European team, I mean, again, listen, those are all phenomenal players that are on the team. I don't know that they played their best golf, and I think we just played better golf.
We did, and
we played better golf.
So Whistling Straits, they have two courses there on the coast, the Irish and the Straits course. They played the Straits. I played it last September in 2020, and we played it from the tips, 7,890 yards in 20, 30 mile an hour winds. So worse conditions than they had it from. Even that first tee box, that's not even the far back tee. There was another tee box way back. So it's a brutal course. It can be brutal. So we definitely had the length. But I thought it actually favored the European team with their link style of golf going into it.
Yeah.
The wind on the ocean, it could be cold. You just didn't know what the weather was going to do.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like our big guns, they just showed up. Like Bryson drove the first hole on Sunday in his singles match.
I mean, I think there's a definite shift in the mentality of our younger American players versus where we've been. Like I think our younger set really approaches the game with more of a attack mentality. I don't know if that's I think we've talked about it previously on one of our previous podcasts about how juniors are coming up through golf nowadays. Right. It's score. I don't care. You double that one, move on. You're going to birdie the next three. It's just boom, boom, boom. Hit it, and go. So it's a kind of quick memory, right? Forget about that one, on to the next. I mean, look at the last 2 years on the PGA Tour of how many different tour winners and how many first-time winners. I mean, we're almost every week getting a new first-time winner under the age of, let's say, under 35. I'd say under 30, but I mean, even here recently, just more younger players are winning more frequently on tour, and I think that kind of says a little bit about where we are with, American golf, and maybe that's showing up.
Yeah, I think we're deeper. For sure, deeper in that junior program and that younger group. In the majors, you're having a lot of them kind of in the mix these days. Yeah. And I thought Will Zalatoris I would have picked him even though he was far down the list. He seemed like if he had his PGA Tour card the whole year, he would have made the team.
Well, and he's made the comment here recently that kind of chaffed his rear a little bit. He really wanted to be on that team. I don't know that he was even in consideration, but why wouldn't he be? I mean, he's lights out, fantastic, and he's another guy. I mean, when you look at the folks that didn't get on the team,
solid.
You could have a second team and play them against each other.
Could our B team have beat their A team?
That's probably a good debate.
Wow, that's interesting. Because who would you have on? You'd have Zalatoris. You'd have
you'd put the Nas,
Patrick Reed,
Billy Horschel on
Horschel,
there. You would. I mean, there was Kevin Kisner probably would have made that the B team.
Sam Burns just won. He could have. Homa would have been on that B team.
Yeah. I mean, you got to again. So I think that's
how sad is this? This 1 year after we've been dominated in the Ryder Cup forever.
Yeah.
Now we're like, I think our B team could have beat them.
I mean, it's exciting for American golf. You almost want to not have to wait the 2 years to have the next Ryder Cup. Mm-hmm. I guess this will make President's Cup interesting. I mean, who's the next captain of the President's Cup for U.S.?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It wasn't Davis, was it?
David? No.
I mean, whoever it is you've got a lot of folks that you've got to think about that are kind of upward trending for the team. I mean, there's going to be some. Yeah. There's going to be some challenging, some head scratching picks.
I feel sad for the whatever team world in the President's Cup because.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Team Europe would be Team World probably.
Yeah.
And were you shocked that Tiger wasn't there as like I'm sure Stricker said, "Dude, do you want to be not on the team, but he was a captain."
He was a vice captain. I think he selected him early on as a vice captain.
Remote vice captain.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I mean, I just think he's breaking. Maybe number one, he didn't want to steal any limelight from the team. The other thing is, I mean, with his rehab, he probably didn't want to risk being around that many people and something going wrong. Maybe it takes him out of his rehab routine. I'm sure that all played into it. But Stricker's been very outspoken about how Tiger was, very involved the whole time and very, pro team and sending words of encouragement. And
I want to see how he's doing personally.
Well, he's always been very private.
I know.
He's going to provide updates when it's a favorable, ready to deliver update.
Dude, just let me know.
TMZ snaps a pic every once in a while and sends it out.
I'm rooting for the guy. I want to dude, what do I need? What do I need to do? What do I need to pray for? How can I encourage this and root for Tiger to come back? I just want to know where you're at after 8-9 months.
I mean, we'll get an update. Think about it. We've got his favorite tournament's the Masters, right? So his
tournament's coming up soon in
Albany. But that's not as important. He wants to play in the Masters.
You think he's playing the Masters next year?
I don't think he plays in the Masters, but I think we're going to get a pretty good update well before then about kind of the state of. Is he walking fine? Is he putting weight back on the legs? Is he actually doing any golf stuff? Is he putting, chipping? Is he taking 3/4 swings? You're going to get some idea if he's what he's doing. It's not going to be some top secret for that long. Social media is not going to let it be top secret for that long. But I think he comes back and he plays golf.
Well, the Hero World Challenge is coming up, so that could be he'll have to be there, right? Or
he's the host.
He's the host of that. So
I think hopefully
we see him.
Yeah, and that's a pretty low key event. Isn't it still being held in the Bahamas?
It's the Bahamas.
Yeah. So remember when he made his comeback a couple years ago at the Hero?
Yeah.
And he played there. Now, I'm not saying he's coming back to play at the Hero this year. I don't think he's that close, and I'm not his doctor, but I'm going to guess he's not that close. But I bet he's there, and I bet he has a presence, and I don't see him being invisible at that event.
No, he'll be there, hopefully. Okay, so Ryder Cup. We dominate.
Yeah.
I mean, that was exciting.
It was almost kind of melodramatic.
I mean, there was no this could go the other way.
We were trying to get off the course because, usually man, I want to watch all the final matches. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to really hurry because the outcome was never in doubt.
Not really.
Which is, okay, we'll take it. I mean, we had some close calls over the last 4 Ryder Cups. I mean, the Medina one kind of sticks in my craw a little bit.
So Saturday afternoon, I'm thinking, okay, if this doesn't go our way Saturday afternoon, we're looking at Medina all over again.
Right.
And it went our way. So I'm like, it's even better than Medina.
Yeah.
So it's going to be challenging for these guys.
Interesting, we picked the format on Friday. We picked the format that favored us, and we took advantage of it.
Right.
And that got us off to a good start, which we never relinquished that momentum, which was great. So, I mean, A lot of second guessing could go out there, but I'm like, okay, it worked.
Whatever, it worked.
It
worked. It doesn't matter. I'm happy for Stricker because that dude, like, that was his major, he said.
Yeah.
Which he never won. So good for him. I think everybody loves that guy. And
it was a good for if you're a fan of American golf. It was a great outcome. I think golf in general it was great. I mean, I know there was some. We talked a little bit about some of the outtakes afterwards, commentary about U.S. fans, and I know Sergio's wife was quoted as hey, y'all show a little bit more class. I'm American. I'm embarrassed, and you know what? Yeah, somebody probably said something inappropriate or off color, but I'm like, you mean to tell me that that if we were in Europe at any of the Ryder Cups on European soil, that none of the crowd, everyone was so gracious to every American player and family and whatever? I mean, come on. This is crazy to me that we're going to sit. Didn't Shane Lowry start talking about, I was pissed at some of the American players, and I'm like,
there's a lot of that going on. I mean, look, there's gamesmanship happening. It's match play stuff. Like I had a match today, match play. It came down. I was 3 down with 3 to go, and I made it to 18. I was 3 down with 4 to go.
Did you do the putter thing and say, hey,
No.
like they were doing, hey, isn't this inside the putter? Now, to be fair, Bryson's putter is like really long.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
So that doesn't. His in the leather is like the flag stick, so that shouldn't count.
Here's what I did. He has maybe a 3.5 footer to win on our 16th hole, which is, we played the back 9 first, so whatever, hole 7.
Yep.
And so I take off my hat and I stand on the side, right? Because I'm gonna lose. But he fanned his putt, missed it. I'm like, oh, put my hat back.
You gotta put your hat back on.
So then we're on the next hole. I have a birdie putt, just missed it. He has like a 30 footer and he runs it by 4.5 feet. So he's lining up the putt and I'm behind the guy. And so I'm like, oh, let me take and so I took my hat off and he fanned it again. I just won't.
This got to be your move now. You got to take your hat off, put it back on.
So he says like, oh, I saw you take off your hat. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. Like I was behind. Like, how'd you see me? I was behind you. Like he must have saw my shadow. So I was like, man, whatever. You should have stopped. Like, but whatever. Like there's games. But I was thinking to myself, hey, I took my hat off in the last hole and he missed. Let me take my hat off again.
Right.
Like, it worked, and it worked.
It's like a voodoo doll.
So we're laughing about it. Like I could tell it rattled him. But
yeah.
Hey, like, not that I did it on purpose, but there are match play things.
Sure.
I also gave him every putt the whole round, 3 feet and in.
Right. So purposely you get to
16.
the end and I'm going to make you putt it. You haven't putted him all day.
Yeah. And there was a number of times he's like, good. And, he's got 4 feet. I got 3 feet. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it worked.
Yeah.
He stroked on me on the last hole, so I had to, I not birdied it, and he pars it, so I lose.
Hey, well, listen, match play's fun, and that's just part of it. And we've all been on matches where it's the opposite. I've had that benefit me or hurt me, and it just makes it fun, and it's one of the many reasons we show up to play. So it's.
That's what it's all about. And look, there's gamesmanship. Give him putt. Hey, guess what, dude? I don't have to give you the putt if I don't want to.
Right.
It's up to me.
Yeah.
Make the putt, dude. You're a PGA. You play for a living. If you have a 2 footer,
right,
and I don't give it, that's too bad. Make it.
Well, that's part of it. Is it's they almost make it like, well, I gave you that one. You should give me this one. I'm like, well, that's not really the rule.
It doesn't really work.
I didn't ask you to give me that putt. You gave it to me.
You gave it. It's your choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get that. But that's, welcome to competitive sports, right? I mean,
that's what it's about. And you gotta expect, hey, they're gonna do things that I don't expect, and things are gonna happen that I'm not happy or comfortable with. So
absolutely.
I'm just gonna have to deal with it. That's the way it goes. It's like a ref throws a flag when there's not a flag to be thrown. So you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Same thing in golf.
Yeah, you got to move on.
So we dominate Ryder Cup, and then your boy Bryson goes and competes in the long drive championship.
I did think it was funny. He was talking about how his hands were all beat up, and I'm like, does he ever do lawn work? Because my hands look like that all the time. I mean, this is it was kind of funny, but
did you watch the PLDA Professional Long Drive Association?
I watched a little bit of it, but more just highlights. But I saw like the reporting on it.
I'm watching it. I'm at a conference. YouTube conference. I'm watching on my phone.
Yeah.
Like I got it right there. I'm like, dude, here comes Bryson.
Hey, I mean, he showed up. He showed out very well.
Top 8.
And the competitors were as excited when he was hitting as everybody else was watching. I mean, it was ultimate, promotional move on his part. Number one, I think he's very interested in it. Number one, but what a spike for the interest in long drive.
Oh, huge spike. And so I've recently done a workout program called Swing Strong 90, designed by Ryan Steenberg and Justin James and Cassandra Meyer.
Yeah.
They're all long drive competitors.
Yeah, Justin James, big hitter.
Justin was there and Ryan. And I know Bryson finished higher than Ryan. I'm not sure about Justin, if he was in the top 8 or not. But, dude, he legitimately is one of the longest hitters in the world, Bryson is.
I mean, he had several over 400 yards.
Yeah.
He was, his short ones were 360 to 380. I mean, he did not embarrass himself at all. And again, this is his first competition doing it.
First competition.
So just there's some nuances of these competitions. Mm-hmm. So he's still, he's a rookie in doing this. Maurice Allen had some great comments about what he thought about his engagement in first performance. And I mean, I think he legitimately could compete in long drives moving forward if he wants to.
He could and probably will. What's interesting is like long drive competitors like Jamie Sadlowski.
Who, by the way, he's making a run at his tour card.
Yeah, he's pretty good in the wherever he is in. Like
he's in the second phase or the third stage of Korn Ferry Tour.
So he could qualify for Korn Ferry.
He's trying, yeah.
Which would be huge.
Yeah.
But he's played in some PGA events, but just didn't do very well. I
right.
mean, it's hard to go from long drive to tour.
Yeah.
And very few guys have ever gone from tour to long drive. There's been a couple, but long drive wasn't what it was then as it is today.
Right.
Where there's guys who are like, that's my career.
Right. Well, again, so you're spending a lot of time working your body differently to hit the ball as far as you can, whereas, your short game, I would imagine, would suffer a little bit because you're really not trying to hit every wedge as far as you can. And your touch and spin. The spin's crazy, you're right. So it's just, I think maybe that's where Bryson has a little bit of an advantage is he's bulked up, but he has really transformed how he moves his body with a swing. Some of the
crazy.
angles and the stress that he creates is crazy. I thought although he and Brooks have their little thing, right? Brooks gave him a compliment this past week talking about, he's changing the game.
He is.
There's no doubt he's changing the game. Maybe for everybody, maybe not so, but he's changing the game for some on the approach of, if he drives it like he drives it and he hits 2, 3, 4 fairways around doing that, and he's got 3 or 4 clubs less than the competitor into greens. Mm-hmm. That translates into 2 extra birdies around. That's huge and huge. He's
on the tour.
He's winning more tournaments. He's making more money. It's a big deal.
Yeah, so I was excited to see him compete. I think it's cool. What will it equal in terms of his PGA Tour career? I don't know, but I'm concerned that it could damage his body as he gets older. And
I don't think you can put
longevity.
I don't think you can put that kind of stress on your body forever. Mm-hmm. But again, based on the number of wins he has already, he's got the one major. If he wins another major, he's already ahead of somebody like a John Daly. He's got a Ryder Cup victory now. Mm-hmm. I'd say he's either one major or another couple wins away from already probably being a Hall of Famer.
Well,
I'll go on record as saying that right now.
He'll be a Hall of Famer.
But think about it. But how old is he?
He's 20 something. He's young. He's 28.
Okay, so no matter what you think about Bryson, which there are opinions both ways, is he good or bad for golf?
It's fantastic. I love the guy, and I'm more of a fan of him now than I used to be. And even then that Brooks and Bryson feud, I've started to lean more toward Bryson because I'm like, man, this guy's he's just whatever. He's quirky. He's got his thing, and I'm like, I like that. And whereas Brooks is more like, I'm going to punch you in the mouth kind of bully guy. Like he just comes across that way. So
they have very different personalities, although they both come across as alpha males.
Oh, for sure.
Bryson's a little quirkier. Brooks is more to himself. Bryson never comes across like he doesn't care. He doesn't necessarily care what you think, but he cares deeply about what he's doing. Brooks comes across that he cares about what he cares about, and he really doesn't care what you think. So right. There's some differences where if you're the Joe Schmo public, you're thinking, wow, Brooks seems like a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm not in his inner circle. He might be a fantastic dude.
Could be cool dude.
And people say, well, Bryson's a big baby and he's weird and quirky, and I'm like, I'm not in his inner circle. He might be the greatest friend anybody could have. So I can only judge it based on what we see, and that's not always fair.
I think I can if I saw both of them like whatever at a place and we were talking, I felt like I could geek out with Bryson.
Yeah.
And whereas Brooks might be like, get away from me, you're a weirdo. Like that's where I could be totally wrong, but that's my impression of how it would go.
Who doesn't like Mr. Short Game? Come on,
I mean,
everybody likes Mr. Short Game.
You'd be surprised, or maybe not. So
we need to extend an invite. We need to get him on the show.
We'll get him on here soon enough.
Get him in the studio.
All right. Okay. So long drive, awesome. Now we're getting into what was just announced the other day: the match with Bryson and Brooks, 12 holes.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I listen, unless I haven't investigated why 12 holes, but I'm still thinking, okay, how about 9 holes or 18 holes?
It's like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Like a 12-hole
and that might
bout.
be. Maybe it's a 12-round bout here, but
that's what it seems like.
So here's when this came, I'm like, oh, well, of course we finally have it after we had a little kumbaya session at the Ryder Cup. We didn't have this heated spillover that, everybody was anticipating. I think it's a little too late. That's my first take.
Interesting.
I also I think it's going to be a little bit more made for than reality. I don't think the beef is as deep as the media has carried it out.
I agree.
I think people are kind of moving on, and we're now trying to cash in on it after the fact. That's my initial take.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Are we going to have a weigh-in? Like, are they going to be in their jockey shorts up there, flexing?
See again, if you do all of that kind of stuff, then now it just becomes silly. And what people really wanted. So again, this is how we've gotten to in our society, right?
Yeah.
Is people really wanted to see two people that disliked each other going at it and having some serious animosity to each other. That's what sells. That's what people want to see. I'm not saying that's right, but that's what they wanted. I don't think they have that now. And so I think what we're going to have is we had that with Tiger and Phil. Remember when we did this is before the matches, when we did the showdown at Sherwood or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was a while back.
None of this ever turned out
like they
thought, and it was just kind of like, oh man, I got all jacked up and paid pay-per-view and got the fellas together to watch this.
Do we know who's playing with them, if anybody?
I didn't see that yet.
I haven't seen that. So they're doing this 12-hole thing. So it's the first thing I thought of was obviously they want to make this like a heavyweight, fight, right. 12 rounds. We're going to duke it out. And so what I needed to see now is who's the undercard.
Well, okay.
Who's the undercard?
So are we going to go celebrities? Are we going to do tour players? Are we going to do?
We got to spice it up. All the matches.
We had Trump versus Biden.
That would be I don't know. Well, anyways, we won't get political here. But I think all the matches missed out on having the undercard, because the first one with Tiger and Phil, where they're driving around in the car or they're walking or something, and you're like, dude, this is taking forever. Aren't we going to cut to somebody else?
Yeah, can we get a Jordan versus Barkley? Or can we get, I no more Tom Brady. We've seen enough of Tom Brady. We've seen the NFL players.
We're in season, so it's not going to be that. Basketball is going to start up too, so Steph's out. I wasn't a fan of seeing him golf anyways.
No. I want to be entertained. I don't want to see guys that are aspiring to be tour pros. Because I think in the back Steph's mind. He's like, when I'm done playing basketball, I'm going to go play. It's like, I don't want to see Steph Curry against John Smoltz or something like that. That doesn't, okay. Because they really are, they're serious. They aspire to compete in golf on some level. I want to see personalities out there that maybe this isn't what they do and have some fun and shtick with it. I want to be entertained. To me, that's not entertainment.
No. So I need the undercard matches, at least to play on holes where you know, when I'm waiting for you to shoot, to hit your shot, like we can cut away. We need something to spice it.
Yeah, we could do a Barkley versus Bill Murray or something.
Anything,
whatever.
Anything would be great. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think you're right, though. I think they are trying to milk it for all the
unless
dollars
there's an incident that happens between now and then, again, between them, something gets said, some bad gesture, you know, what have you. So-and-so's caught with so-and-so something, you know, it's you know, there isn't enough juice right now with it. No. I just feel like people are like, okay, that was cool for a minute. I'm ready to move on. You know, I think it's too late.
Interesting. Yeah, it would have been good maybe the previous match.
Yeah.
Like right in the thick of it.
I couldn't tell you hardly anything about that last match.
All I remember is Brady and Aaron Rodgers playing catch in between some shots, and I was like, man, they throw it pretty fast. I didn't realize how fast that ball was traveling.
Which is great, but I mean...
That's all I remember.
Can't we watch that on Sunday?
Yeah. We see it on Sunday.
Right.
Brady, whatever.
I actually kind of watched it as a Steelers fan. I watched that part of it last week, you know, so we didn't do very well.
I don't need to see those guys. Like, I like seeing tour pros. I like seeing high-level players. How about this? How about we got Brooks and Bryson, and I got like Jack and Trevino or somebody. Like, I want to see some Trevino.
You know, the public wants to see the Monday, Tuesday money matches that they do on tour. Now, that's what you want to see. You want to see Phil grabbing 3 young guys on tour. Maybe it's he and Ricky against Xander and Patrick Cantley, and they're getting into each other and all the money. And again, they can play for the same money. Let's just make it charitable stuff and get into each other just like you do. I think that would be way more entertaining than what we're trying to kind of make for TV.
Yeah, when you have to create... It's like anything. It's like the true story is always better.
Put people in their natural element and let them go. Survivor tries to do it all the time.
They do a great. They should get Jeff Probst in there. And
there we go. That's right.
Jeff,
that's right.
We help us out. Come up with some type of survival. Come in and advise us on how to fix the match.
I'd be. You know what they could do?
That's a good idea.
They could set it up where the winners advance, and they could do this like on a 4 to 6 week rotation. And we have 2 new guys come in, or gals, teams, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be a combo. You want to do LPGA, PGA, I don't care. You want to do World of Entertainment versus sports. Doesn't matter to me, but we could make some fun out of this.
Get a couple LPGA. How about Annika? She still dominates out there on I think she won the U.S. Women's Senior Open.
We need anybody who's got thick skin who can talk smack and is willing to do it. I mean, that's what you gotta have. You gotta have some fun. What we don't want to see is X number of holes of silence.
That's the worst, and that's sadly what happens a lot. Is my concern? It's like, is Brooks can he carry a television show? I think Bryson can, because he could geek out a lot.
So we should just
talk a lot of weird
instead
stuff.
of doing this on national television. We just need to go to cable. We can do this on HBO. We can do it on Showtime. They don't have to worry about Xing out every word. If you want to, I mean, just make it. I'm telling you, if we were walking around with the camera crew on a Monday or Tuesday on tour and following some of the money matches, first of all, we'd probably laugh until we couldn't laugh anymore. And there'd be some serious fun stuff going on. And that's really what sells and what people want to see.
So they need the, what's the football show on HBO? The Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
They need the Hard Knocks version of the match.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is what we got. All right. So that's what's coming up. Anyways, excited for that. PGA Tour 2021-22 season is kicked off.
Yep.
We're underway.
Week 3. We're on week 3. I'm
not real interested in these early weeks.
This is the chance, though. This is where some of these folks that they cement their FedEx Cup position. You get an early win.
Yeah.
I mean, you in this kind of wraparound season, this kind of fall portion, last several years, guys have won 1 or 2 times in the fall, might be slow the rest of the year, but they get them all the way close to the top 30. They sit there for the whole year.
Yeah, so these fall events are more like a little higher end, like Corn Ferry kind of deals.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they're good for the fans. I'm excited. I've got the RSM comes up the week before Thanksgiving. I'll be there again.
You gonna go out to that?
I'll be there all week. Gonna do the Pro-Am again. So excited about that.
Go say hi to Tom if you're out there.
Please do.
You playing the Pro-Am there?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get in there?
It's a little different this year, actually. So this year kind of COVID, still dealing with a little bit of the COVID.
Okay.
It's actually going to be a virtual draft. I've never. I've done virtual drafts before with fantasy
every Friday,
sports, right?
Thursday night for our Friday game. We do virtual drafts.
That's right. But we this year we got the details. They won't have like the live pairings party where your team gets a number, you see all the players on the boards with the tee times, and then you get to kind of select. So I'll find out like Tuesday night at the dinner, kind of outdoor dinner.
Wow.
I'll just be like, okay, Tom, you're on team X and you're teeing off at 7 a.m. So,
fantastic.
It's going to be what it is. So, but it's fun. I'm glad that they're back doing it. We had a little time off the last 2 years, really, and so kind of back to normal.
I got to get in one of these soon. Got to get in one.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I like that. I like guys who know people. Well, Tom, thanks for joining the podcast as always. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Take care, everybody.